The Mets, they returned home and they started off their homestand with a loss to the second-place Atlanta Braves on Friday night as the team begins what could be a telling week against a couple of contenders in the division. So let's talk about it. We're going to do that with the host of the Subway to Shea podcast. My guy, Anthony Rivera, joins us now. Anthony, how are you doing?
Doing a lot better than the Mets. Very excited for today to see Christian Scott in person. So I really can't complain, but I'm feeling for the Mets right now.
There you go, feeling for the Mets. We're going to get into that, Anthony, because the team just kicked off a crucial 7-game stretch, and they kicked it off with a 4-2 loss to the Braves on Friday night. What went wrong for the Metropolitans in this game?
The same thing that's been going wrong all season. Very inconsistent hitting. They could not hit off of Charlie Morton. Only 4 hits in the game. And then you top that off with Jose Quintana, who, has been struggling over the last couple of starts. He gave up some monstrous home runs to Ronald Acuna, to Albies, as well as to Olsen. And, doing that with 2 outs is really the kicker there, because he almost was out of the inning, and giving up those 3 home runs was very tough. You need more from the de facto ace of this team. Right now, he's 1-4 with a 5.44 ERA. You need a lot better from him, and you definitely need a lot better from this offense, which has a lot left to be desired from.
Yeah, they have to, and you don't like what you saw there from Jose Quintana, giving up those bomb home runs, and he's got to be better, like you said. But a guy that Mets fans want to see get better, but started off his career on the right foot, if you want to say that. That's Christian Scott. The rookie is slated to start on Saturday after a stunning Major League debut last week against the Tampa Bay Rays. What should Mets fans expect from him in his second start, first at Citi Field, especially against a lineup as potent as the Braves?
Well, he's shown a lot of confidence and bravado, and you need that against this Atlanta Braves offense, which has just an all-star at almost every position. The Tampa Bay Rays offense is a lot different, and this team, he's going to have to really, go after the hitters and get as many strikes as possible and kind of limit his pitch count like he did on Saturday. If he can do that, I have a lot of high hopes for him in this game. And the fact that they have not seen him yet may be a positive as well. Maybe they don't know, what is to come from Christian Scott. But I don't want to get, too crazy over it, because we know that this Atlanta Braves offense is one of the best in the major league. So I want to temper the expectations so far for Christian Scott.
Probably a good way to go about it there, Anthony. The Braves offense, you have to respect them there. But Scott, the one thing you like, if you're a Mets fan, showed a lot of poise in his first start, gave up 3 hits to start, but then retired the next 11 batters. So that was very impressive with him when you saw the poise. We'll see if we can show that against the Braves. Now, the Metropolitans, they're currently a game below 500, 8 games back of the first-place Phillies. How crucial is this 7-game stretch where they played the Braves and the Phillies for the Metropolitans right now?
I mean, it's crucial for them to kind of stay above water and stay over 500. At this moment in time, think there's no shot at the NL East and the division title. The Mets haven't shown that they can contend with these 2 teams who are at the top of the Phillies are leading the division over the Braves, who are a great team as well. So these 2 teams are peaking at the right moment, and they might be catching the Mets at the right moment, because the Mets have been, kind of on this roller coaster ride. And I just don't know if they are going to be able to handle and pitch out of their way with these 2, like you mentioned, potent offenses in the Phillies and the Braves. So if the Mets can somehow, go 3-4 or 4-3, I would be okay with that. If they do even better, great. But we got to be a little more realistic with at least what we've seen so far. And the evidence is that this team right now isn't ready to contend with the Phillies or the Braves.
Right. We look at the team, like I said, a game below 500. You're saying you'd like to see them stay around 500 in this stretch where they face both teams. So after the Braves, the Mets will face the Phillies at home. What do you think are the key areas that the Mets need to focus on to come out successful in this stretch, whether it's 3-4, 4-3, against these top division rivals?
It's the offense to me. It's the offense that needs to wake up. We're seeing, Lindor's having a good stretch here. Brandon Nimmo has been the best hitter over the last 15 days. And look at this. Alonso, 2 games where he's had 2 hits each, which is a very positive sign. He had a home run in that game against St. Louis. He had an RBI in this game against Atlanta last night. And if those guys who are, the core of this team, if they can hit on all cylinders, we can get some wins here. A couple of these games this season, the Mets have beat themselves. And if they can come together and figure it all out at once with the hitting, with the starting pitching, the bullpen has been great. They can take some of these games here. Maybe they get overlooked by the Braves and the Phillies, and they're able to steal some here. But it's going to be very tough with these 2, monstrous teams that are, fighting it out for the division lead and quite possibly could be fighting it out for a spot in the World Series this season.
Yeah, very well could do that if the Mets are going to turn it around. I am inclined to agree with you. The hitting's got to be better, but you also talked about some of the inconsistent pitching. However, with the Mets being 18-19, that's generally what you have when you have a team around 500. Generally, they are inconsistent. You know who's not inconsistent? That is Anthony Rivera. He is a consistently good podcast called the Subway to Shea podcast. Go and check that out. Anthony, appreciate the time. Enjoy watching Christian Scott at Citi Field today. We will talk soon, my man.
Thank you, Dexter. Appreciate you as always.